You know, it was being presented, and the minute I smelled that, they were gone. But the people we got, General Foods made it very clear. They did $6 billion. They would like the world to know that they care, and that cold corporate structure, they've had enough of that. And we'd like to help you, Jerry, and by doing that, maybe the people will see that we are caring people, and they are.
We're in Chicago with Jerry Lewis, and we'll be back in just a moment.
I would just like to tell Jerry thank you, because you have helped us personally. And if it were not for your telethon, I would not even know that my boys have been affected, and I have gotten everything without penny one. And I thank you personally.
Thank you.
Jerry, putting the other thing aside, I would like to thank you personally for all the mirth you've given me all my life from the movies when I saw when I was a small girl.
Your mother took you to see me when you were
definitely.
Thank you very much. Yes. Thank you.
Since all of this is done by you personally, I was wondering what happens when you are no longer physically able to handle this.
Yeah. Well, she's not suggesting that's going to be this weekend, but...
I don't think in those terms. That's a very pessimistic outlook. I'm going to be fine until it's done, and then after it's done, I'll still be fine.
Yeah. My question goes right along with that. I hear you talking to support muscular dystrophy. Great. Phil talking about covering other children. Have you ever thought about conducting on your own or supervising workshops which would help people learn how to take advantage of fundraising in the most efficient way?
I don't think that there can be a class in concern, care, and love. I don't know how you teach that.
Yeah.
What percentage of the donations go directly toward muscular dystrophy?
We use 13 cents of every dollar for administration, operating costs. 87 cents is child care, research. We have the most prestigious figures of any fundraising organization in the world, motivated by the fact that most of my staff has been with me for over 30 years, and they care.
Yes, I know that with advertising there's such a big flack over that, but isn't it true that if you didn't have these people to support you and your cause, that money for actually being on TV would actually have to come out of the funds, so therefore you really need these advertisers?
Absolutely, because now we are not getting stations as clearly, as purely, as free as we did years ago. So the expenditures are really overridden by so many of the companies. They have helped us tremendously.
Jerry, I don't understand when people say you make people, handicapped people seem incapable. I look at it as exactly the opposite. Since I started the telethons and everything, I ran into a lot of handicapped people, and I don't bend down to them. I noticed that with you. You never bend down to them.
Never. You always stand upright.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
I just want to know, is there a personal reason why you got involved with this charity other than another one?
Yes, very personal.
Which you have not shared with me.
I've never shared it with anyone. The important thing is that I do it, not the why.
Yeah. Well, I have a question. I am, like the lady on the telephone, involved in a small charity of foster kids. And how do I get my favorite comedian or whatever to help me? Because I'm out on the streets, and they say, well, I gave to Jerry, but what about the rest of them? How can you spread it around a little?
You should know also that television general managers say that as well. If a television station carries Jerry Lewis, what other telethon should they carry? And how do you stop? And what is the attitude of the people for whom you provide no time? It doesn't make Jerry wrong. I just think it's another dilemma here. Who gets Channel 9, Channel 7, Channel 2? Who gets it?
The guy that goes into the station manager and charms them like I did.
Is the caller there?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Mr. Donahue.
Yes, ma'am.
I wanted to ask you, what gives you the right to bring him down the way you do? Have you ever worked for a telethon? Have you ever worked for a sick person?
Yes,
have you ever donated your time to a hospital?
Yeah.
How do you know what he is going through?
Yeah. Well, I have worked on telethons. That's where my whole, that's when my wheels started to turn. I've answered the phones.
Hooray for you. But have you traveled to a hospital, consoled those children?
You get calls from people who say, This is Chuck Hainsworth. We're over here at the Y'all Come Back Lounge, and we want to challenge all the other bars in the west side of the city we just raised. And then and they even had one in Peoria where they had a drink-a-thon. I mean, should you have shoe-shine-a-thons, bike-a-thons? Why do we have to do this in order to raise money for our kids? That's the only... I'm off now. I accept your criticism, and I don't want to take up more time with it, but I don't want to appear to be giving you the back of my hand.
No. But I will say you shouldn't put him down. You should put people down that steal from the government, that don't care about the next person.
Sweetheart, let me tell you something. Phil is talking about the system in general. He's talking about something that disturbs him because he believes there has to be a better way, and until we find that better way, he's going to be frustrated. He's not attacking me, because if he was, we wouldn't be here.
Thanks. A long time between hands for me on this program. Is the caller there?
Yes, I'm here.
Briefly, please.
Yes, I don't think that Jerry puts the kids on television and makes people feel sorry for them. When I watch that telethon, I give those kids credit. They've got more guts than I know I'll ever have in my whole entire life, and I praise them for that because too many people see someone who's handicapped, whether they're deaf, blind, or can't walk, and they turn their back and pretend they don't exist, and I think it's high time that somebody stood up and said, I'm going to make them see what these people look like, and more power to them.
Send up another order of class, please. Can I say something now, please, Phil?
Try and leave out the
Can I please say something, Phil? I wrote a book, and I came here like all other authors come to sell their book. Okay? I've heard enough about telethons. I have no reason to say, oh, I shouldn't have said that because it's a... Let's table that. There's a lot more to talk about. And for me to be representative of just telethon is stupid.
Well, we can take care of the book in a minute and a half. Let's try. We got a break here. You have 6 boys. Jerry is about to be married in any day now. He will be... He writes with his own feelings of anguish at the end of his marriage to Patty, and also tells us that his feelings about your feelings about Dean are feelings of positive feelings.
Always.
You felt that he was a brilliant straight man, one of the best in the business. You would not be where you were if it weren't for him.
You bet.
What's all this stuff about you guys fighting?
Well, you read some of the press.
We're in Chicago with Jerry Lewis, and we'll be back in just a moment.
It's here. 2. There's only 1. 2.
Oh, delicious. Oh, beef sprout with steak. Beef sprout is the best. I love it. Every time I eat steak, I have beef sprout. I love it. They are good. Perfect. Who like medium rare? Nice steak. Delicious. You have that.
Hardly working. Not to be confused with Jerry's forthcoming movie titled The King of Comedy, starring Robert De Niro and Jerry Lewis.
I have just one more question regarding the telethon. I know you won't disclose the reason you started doing it and everything like that, but I was just wondering if the people that are attacking you like this knew your reason. Would you think it might have any change in their feelings?
No.
No?
I will pursue my principles without calculating the consequences. I think Mr. Roosevelt said that, and it was good to remember.
To get away from the telethon, Mr. Lewis, I read a long time ago about, you wrote so beautifully about your son being in Vietnam. How is he doing?
Very well, thank you. He's doing, as a matter of fact, I spoke to him last night, and he's terrific. And he's 37 years old, and I'll smack his mouth if he opens it up once.
Do you think some of your image problems have to do with...
I beg your pardon?
Your image problem. I think it's an image problem with you. I think sometimes you come off as being arrogant. I saw you in the telethon talking to the doctor friend of yours.
Yeah.
Who was a friend when you were little boys.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought you were a little rough on him.
No.
I think sometimes you're rough on people, and you come off as being...
I'm sure that I do, and I'm sure that I'm not aware of it. But after the fact, there's nothing you can do about it. Sometimes you can get caught up in what you're doing, and it can be interpreted as overly confident, egomaniacal. The list goes on and on and on. But when you're standing in front of a camera for 24 hours, the tendency is to touch on most all of the virtues, all of the frailties. It's a very human condition that's happening up there. I have no defense for poor conduct, because I'm sure a lot of that happens and it can't be helped. But I'm very strong about what I believe. I love hard and I dislike hard. There's no middle with me. And I stand before an audience knowing full well I may be abrasive, but what I'm saying is the truth, and I will not bend so far backwards or lean so far forwards that I wind up going that way. I have to do what I do, and I'm not up there for a popularity contest.
Jerry, I think your only defense is that you should get more comedians and more actors involved in other types of charities that you're involved in.
Except that you can't do that. It's not a matter of making a meeting and saying, hey, why don't we all, or you should. My personal involvement came from something that happened to my life. And because of that, I doubt very strongly if that didn't happen, I'd be here today discussing this. I might very well be one of the many entertainers that just do his thing and get on with it. But it affected me so personally that what I'm really doing is the most selfish act any man can ever perform. While there's selflessness there, terrific. But it's basically very selfish. Because all of the satisfactions and gratification to see what can happen to a child that would normally be dead in 8 months, through research on these dollars, we've been able to keep them alive 10 and 12 years longer. It's very selfish on my part, and I'll maintain I'm going to be that way.
Jerry, you're great on your own, but is there any chance at all that you and Dean Martin will get together for one more time?
If Liz and Dick do it.
How many of your sons are married?
5 next week. The 5th one gets married next week.
How many grandchildren do you have?
I have a granddaughter 16 years old, and I have a granddaughter 7 months old. Well, don't get me on the subject of Kimberly Diane.
And we'll be back in just a moment.
Wait, I was going to talk about my grand...
Now, jet to Los Angeles International from Northern California on Air Cal for as little as $39. $39 from Oakland, $39 from San Jose, and $39 to come back. This is a limited time offer, so call Air Cal or your travel agent right away. Southern California on Air Cal, as little as $39. It almost doesn't pay to stay home.
Whenever you need it. Refills are available in many powerfully gentle fragrances. Touch it. Another fine product of Scotch Liquid Gold.
I'm pleased to present the future, Mrs. Jerry Lewis. This is Sandy Pitnick. Miss Pitnick, would you stand and let's say hello and accept our congratulations.
Bashful.
Is the caller there?
Yes, she is.
Yeah.
Mr. Donahue, I would like to begin by saying that I watch your sex shows to your women's lib shows. Almost every day, I adore you. But your attitude today is abominable. I realize that you're probably just playing the devil's advocate to get some sort of controversy going. But to pick on somebody who devotes his life to 6 children is just appalling to me. I cannot believe that you would devote an hour to tell a man...
Lady, ma'am, didn't you hear me tell the other lady what I thought, ma'am?
Yes, okay, no, I know. But let me just say this. I am the executive director of a not-for-profit organization, and I have a catastrophic disease. However, to me, you made a comment about corporate support.
Yeah.
If a corporation gives $1, why not let people know about it?
Right, let them take it and
Why
publish
not
it.
let them take
Right.
credit? You got the dollar. It's
I don't want to appear to be smashing your effort here to criticize me. What is your catastrophic disease?
I have lupus, systemic lupus erythematosus.
I see. All right, we certainly have to accept you as a person with credentials who has more than just a passing interest in this. And Mr.
I'm a
Lewis.
fundraiser. I'm a professional fundraiser.
Okay, hang on just one second.
On another subject, Jerry, you're a very funny man, as I recall through the years, movies, particularly on TV. Are there any plans currently for this generation to see more of you live on TV or?
Yeah. Running out of time.
Not if I can help it. Not television. I'm in the film business. There are 3 films coming out within the next 4 months.
Briefly, please. We have a lot.
Jerry, how much time do you spend each year on the road?
On the road, I would say 50-50.
Is your autobiography as juicy as Shelley Winters?
No, I wouldn't have affairs with those fellas.
Yes. What do you like to do other than acting as a pastime?
Writing, directing. Yeah, as a pastime?
I want to ask one question. Are you ever going to do any movies where you do a little bit more singing because you do it great?
Oh, you're the one. Possibly, you never know.
Do you remember your first professional job in show business?
I sure do.
What year was that?
The year was 1931. I sang a song, and they had such sympathy for this 5-year-old who was so frightened that I think I was a big hit.
Out of all your wonderful movies, what was your favorite?
Nutty Professor. But I just finished Smorgasbord, which I think will be my favorite. That's the best work I've done since The Nutty Professor. I'm very excited about it.
What made you decide to go into show business a long time ago?
I was born in a trunk. My mom and dad, there was no other way for me to go. Could you see me as an atomic physicist?
How many weeks do you play Las Vegas in Reno?
12 to 16 weeks a year.
How long did it take for you to write this?
We worked 4.5 years writing the autobiography, not 4.5 steady years, whenever we could get together within that period of time.
Oh, were you the proverbial class clown?
Oh, yeah, Village Idiot, that was me.
And we'll be back in just a moment.
Why do we have...
Is the caller there?
Yes, I'm here. I just want to address one single thing. Jerry Lewis is a beautiful man, and I want to address this whole thing with his back. The man has had a back problem with drugs and the whole thing, and I just want to say that should be emphasized just as much as all the other criticisms that we've heard today.
Right, and he wants you to know that that's in the book.
Yes, it is.
Yes, I knew. I stood in the bookstore and read part of it.
Out of control.